So this right here is the 2020 KTM 690 SMCR. This thing is powered by a 693cc single-cylinder engine that's putting down about 75 horsepower and 55 foot-pounds of torque. It's really nice and light at about 360 pounds, which makes...
Hey, Spike!
Yeah. Oh, hey, Whitney, what's going on?
What's up, dude?
Good to see you. What you got over there?
I came all the way over here to tell you that these are practically the same bike.
But not really though, right? I mean, like, look, you've got all those, neo-retro looks, and I've got, a real sport bike here.
That doesn't matter, right? It's the frame and the engine that matters.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty darn similar, which gives us a good chance to go back over these motorcycles, because back in the day, we did do a little comparison, and I think we both liked the Svartpilen better, but...
But you're cheating.
I'm cheating now.
He's cheating.
I finally built the SMCR, put the airbox in, so it is time for these two bikes to go head to head once again and see whether or not the SMCR can finally take the crown as the #1 690 motorcycle. What do you think?
No. I know that I'm gonna leave here wanting the airbox, but I don't know if the SMCR is gonna take the cake when it comes to a head to head, so.
It will, don't worry.
Now, it might seem silly to compare two bikes with the same engine, very similar frames, built in the same factory, but there's more than meets the eye here. They're both making 75 horsepower and 54 foot-pounds of torque from the same 693cc LC4 engine. They weigh about the same, and both of them feature WP Apex suspension and a tech package. Unfortunately, KTM ceased production of the Svart, but the question remains, did they make a mistake, or is the SMCR really the bike you want? Let's hit the road and find out.
Alrighty folks, so we are both very familiar with our own motorcycles, so I figured today, instead of starting and then swapping, I'll hop on the 701, you hop on the 690, and let's just dive right in.
Let me get my 690 stilts on real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. The first thing you notice going back and forth between these is the obvious seat height difference, right?
Hold on, I gotta... Oh God, here we go. I got it.
It also doesn't help that I have a ton of preload dialed into that bike, so it's not squatting for you.
Yee! Ooh, that's right. Whoa. Dude, this is, as I'm redlining it, this is such a big difference.
Yeah, the first thing that I'm noticing is just how normal this motorcycle feels. It really does just feel like a bike, it feels like just every normal motorcycle that you would hop on. All of the brain pathways are exactly the same. You're like, okay, it makes power normally, you got to rev it out a little bit, and it sits totally normally too.
Dude, I have hit neutral 1,000 times already on your bike.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who catches false neutrals there. Honestly,
dude, it's nuts.
The first thing I'm noticing is how just nice and snickety your transmission is compared to mine. I don't know what it is on that bike, but the transmission feel is just terrible.
Yeah, how do you feel about your quick shifter?
I don't even use it, honestly.
Neither do I.
I don't know what it is about specifically this transmission, but it's never been one that I've been happy with. Even when I first got on it, I was like, oh, it's super cool. I haven't had a quick shifter up and down before, and then I started using it, and I was like, okay, it's pretty good. And then I got on other motorcycles, and I realized that it's just not good at all. Now, I'm looking down at your handlebars here, and I'm not seeing like mode switches. Does this have a, higher power mode or something like that, or is it just in normal mode all the time?
If it does, I don't know about it. We should look that up. I don't think that there's other modes on it. If they would, you would have access to it readily available on the somewhere. right? It's like it wouldn't just be buried in the TC calculator.
Yeah, because you have a mode button, but it's switching between trip time and fuel range on here. And I know you have like the hidden ABS button in there somewhere, but I'm not seeing a way to change the power modes on here, which I guess kind of explains part of the reason why this is a cheaper motorcycle.
How much is yours brand new?
Brand new, the SMCR is $11,700, or at least it was when I bought it in 2022. I bet you new models are more expensive, but didn't you get this for like a screaming deal?
Oh yeah, it was like, I think it was 11.7, and then I got it for, well, I don't know, 8 out the door, 9 out the door.
Wow. You know, hopping on the gas here, going through some of these lighter twisties, this thing is really nimble, despite having the 19-inch front end. I'm able to just kind of chuck it into a corner and get it on a line, and it does a pretty darn good job. And it does have a nice smack of torque too.
Not as torquey as yours though.
Yeah, I think with that airbox, I have something like 30% more torque down low or some crazy number like that. The math on that airbox is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, this is a nice, fun little package, but it's also just totally normal, you know? Very predictable, I would say.
Yeah, it does tickle your giblets in a different way, I think. I mean, it's kind of a holistic bike. It's how it looks, and now it's how it sounds. But it's great for what I use it for, which is commuting. You know, do that. But I was just thinking as I was like orienting myself, this thing is like trying to get you to be psychic when it comes to like your movements and the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get that in terms of nimbleness and agility?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I've noticed the most about the SMCR is because you want to sit really far forward on it, your weight is pushing that front tire down, which allows you to really get on a line a lot quicker. And then once it gets on that line, it really does a lot to hold it in place.
It does. It's funny. It's like, it's disorienting though a little bit for me. So I'm like, wait a second, what's going on? You know, but
again, this is basically on the Svart. It feels like you're just riding any old bike that has a normal seating position, and you have to tell your brain to tell your hands to turn the bike, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God, this seat is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was crazy how hard it was for me to like hit record and then acclimate to riding that. I was like, wait a second, what's going on here?
It's such a hard and uncomfortable seat. That is a just good seat on that bike. This feels lighter.
Is it?
Something about the weight and the way that it's spread out, it just feels a little bit lighter to me. Like side to side, it's really light.
Yeah, now that you're mentioning it, I do notice that. I think it's more substantial. It feels a little bit more planted.
Like, let's see here. I'm gonna just. Yeah, I mean, side to side, this thing is very quick. And that has to be down to the 19-inch front end on that bike. Because you've got the bigger kind of scrambly front tire on there. And this is just, you know, your average sport bike tire. And it's so much lighter into a corner.
Yeah, it's itchy to turn in.
Although, you know what? So I just got on the gas a bit there. And I think we have very similar power bands. I think mine is just more, you know?
It's just got more gusto.
yeah, riding it back and forth, the Svart basically, I mean, it feels like a normal bike power band. This, with just a bit more torque down low, this feels like the same, but just dialed up where the curves are just higher up on the graph, you know?
Do you have access to a dyno with the airbox mod?
I would love to dyno these bikes back to back and see exactly what the differences are. I have seen... Okay, yeah, no, I definitely have more torque. I have seen some back-to-backs pre and post, and it literally just looks like bigger numbers and flatter numbers, right? It's less peaky. All right, I'm gonna just kind of do a little go. Let's see here. Oh man, okay, so I felt there my traction control kicking in because my rear tire was spinning when I got on the gas. So I did a huge little like squid moment back there through
Yeah,
this on this motorcycle. Would you be okay if I did that same squid moment over here, just to feel back to back?
Please go for it.
All right, so I'm gonna hop on and I'm gonna go do the exact same thing, guys, and give you my thoughts.
He just can't help himself, okay?
I mean, I've got an excuse to ride a second motorcycle. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, dude, go for it.
Okay, so we're back here at the exact same spot with the Svart, and I'm gonna go through that same set of corners and basically the same way, just to see how it feels. So, ooh, pick the front wheel up there. Okay, yeah, so riding this thing in anger, the first thing that I'm really feeling is the difference in the quick shifter feel. So the quick shifter feel is so much more positive on this bike. Like, holy cow, more positive. All right, let's kind of dive into this corner here. It is a little bit slower to get online, but not, again, not so much slower that I'm, you know, gonna miss a corner or something. There's so much similarity between the power bands now. Wow. All right, let's get these motorcycles out on the highway and see how they feel as commuters, because I think the Svartpilen is gonna have a lot for the SMCR there.
Here he comes.
Whee!
Sick flyby, my guy. I think he's having fun because he's doing the whole loop over again.
All right, so I want to keep this section kind of short and sweet because there's not a ton to say about these bikes, but I do want to, on the other side of this red light, get your opinions on the SMCR as a highway bike, because I'm already developing quite a bit on the Husqvarna after spending just a few minutes on the highway already.
I have a feeling I already know what you're thinking.
Yeah, the first thing that I'm thinking is this is so much more comfortable.
Yes.
The seat is a lot wider, the bars are kind of normal, you don't have to sit up on the gas tank like this. It's just a more comfortable place to be on the highway. And then beyond just the better ergonomics on this motorcycle, I'm noticing that it's just better mannered on the highway. The SMCR tends to have a very light touch on the handlebars, and it goes in a direction. And on the highway, that can be a little disconcerting because you can just get these tank slappers out of nowhere, you know? If I try to induce one here, it just goes right back out. It steadies back out on this bike almost immediately. Whereas on the SMCR, I always feel like I'm right on the edge of a big tank slapper.
I know, I'm feeling that too, and also it's like, ergonomically speaking, I'm in attack mode, and in America it's like, for what? A big open highway where everybody's, you know, I'm doing 72 and people are passing me, and it's like, okay, why am I in this aggressive stance like I'm about to, you know, go into a banked corner or cut up some twisties? It's like, feels wrong.
It definitely doesn't feel like your average highway bike. Let me ask you this. How do you feel about the vibrations on that? Because, you know, I was expecting this to be a little bit smoother, but it's still a pretty vibey motorcycle, you know?
It's distracting. It's actually, I'm like, damn, the Svartpilen is a lot smoother than I thought it was in comparison. This just feels, it's not a big deal, but also it's like windy today. I was getting blown all over, being more upright and my arms out. It's like I'm just more of a sail, and it's not fun.
Yeah, and you can just sort of duck down if you need to on this, which is really nice. You can just sort of tuck in and you're in a pocket. This is just a better mannered highway motorcycle, which I kind of expected, to be honest. There's just something about the naked bike ergonomic setup that works really well on the highway. But with all that being said, what do you say we kick over to a final little wrap up and see if we can finally figure out once and for all which of these two motorcycles is superior?
Let's do it, but first, can we grab a Gatorade?
Yes, absolutely, let's do it. I also think the SMCR needs gas.
Yep, the gas light just came on.
Perfect timing. All right, let's do it. All right, so bringing these bikes back on the side of the road, I had a bit of an epiphany while I was out riding. And I think it's mainly that this motorcycle is not designed for use in America. I just think that the main use case for something like this is a small European twisty mountain road, you know? For this motorcycle to work right, you really have to ride it hard. And yeah, okay, that sounds great, right? It means it's a fun, twisty road kind of bike.
Unless you're in Texas.
Unless you're in Texas, where not everything is a fun, twisty road and most of it's super duper flat and you end up commuting a lot. This motorcycle is a lot more flawed because it's so laser focused on being fast. Whereas that doesn't have the absolute focused energy that this does, and it allows you to just do more stuff with it.
I was surprised at how relieved I was to get back on the Svartpilen. This thing is magnetized to those turns, and when you're like me, you're like, wait, what are you doing? Wait, why are we doing this? Oh, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it wants to nosedive. And this is like, whatever, let's do 90 on the highway in a straight line. It doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, not only is this just super hardcore when you're in a corner, on the highway, it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's an awful highway motorcycle. I don't know how I could say it any different. It's just not good.
If you gotta hop on, it's fine. I mean, but if you're on there for more than 45 minutes an hour, sailboating your way on a windy day, that's exhausting.
And a lot of folks, you know, are, I think a lot of people tend to be super idealistic about the kind of riding they do. They're like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna bop down to my local twisty road. But sometimes you gotta remember that your local twisty road might be like
Far.
a journey. You know, it's definitely a journey from here.
Okay, where would you live? What part of the world? Like, describe to me the city. When you open your door, what does the road look like? And you own an SMCR.
So there's a picture when you Google Austria.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to describe it as best I can. I'm gonna put it up on screen, but it's this city where all the buildings look like they're made out of gingerbread and candy. And it's all built on this mountain with a lake and there's snow-capped hills.
Guarantee you that out there are some really great twisty 2-lane roads that are perfect for this. You know, this thing, when you get it on the side of the tire, that's when it's happiest. When you can dive on the front brakes and smush down the front suspension, that's when it's happiest. So it's really one of those bikes where you have to ride the crap out of it. And that's not fun all the time.
No, and it's begging you to do that. So when you're not doing that, it's fine to bop around, but you can tell underneath that that's what it wants to do.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's a fire-breathing bike, and you don't always want that. Sometimes you just want to chill.
Super Duke vibes a
Yes.
little bit. Super Duke is just like, let's go, come on. So now with the airbox, it's like extra like that.
Yeah. So I think this was kind of a surprise for me. I was expecting the SMCR to be more enjoyable as a result. I do think that power-wise, the SMCR and this are a lot more similar now.
Yes, I agree.
This bike just has more numbers. Its numbers are bigger, but they come on in the same way. You know, the curves look very similar, but this, just as a package, I gotta give the nod to the Svart.
You thought that the SMCR was gonna take the cake.
I kind of did. Honestly, guys, you know, I'm kind of reaching the end of my love affair with the SMCR.
I'm not shocked.
It happens, you know.
You go through different phases.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video here. This was a lot of fun to put together
This
because
was fun.
it's been a minute since I've done a just straight up comparison between two bikes. And let us know if there's any others you'd like us to check out. And a big shout out to Whitney for coming and spending the afternoon with me.
Oh, thanks, Spike, for having me on. I will help you with whatever you need. You want to do an MT10 versus ZH2, I'm there.
If I can get my hands on both of them, I will call you guys up. But for sure, check out her stuff. It's all linked down in the description below. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.